Bruno had once been the heart of the family, a strong, loyal Bernese mountain dog. He lived with the Carsons, a couple who had once adored him, on the edge of the Rockies in Colorado. They had adopted him as a puppy, raised him with affection, took him on hikes, and treated him like their child. But things changed when the Carsons had a real child. Suddenly, Bruno was too big, too messy, too much work. After the baby was born, he was left outside more often, then stopped being walked. Then his food dish was rarely filled on time. The final straw came one winter morning, when the couple loaded him into their SUV and said they were going for a fun ride. He wagged his tail. They drove up into the mountains, past the town, past the cabins, past the trails, and stopped at a remote turnout deep in the forest. Bruno waited as they opened the back hatch. When he jumped out, tail wagging, they didn't follow. The SUV door slammed shut. He barked as the engine started. He chased them, paws skidding in the snow, but they didn't stop. They disappeared down the mountain road. Bruno was alone. The wilderness. He spent the first night howling into the wind. Snow fell thick and fast. Coyotes cried in the distance. Bruno dug a shallow hole and curled into it, shivering. Days passed. He scavenged, hunted squirrels, and drank from frozen streams. But something in Bruno wouldn't let him stay feral. He still believed he had a home to return to, that someone would come looking. He traveled. He wandered mountain trails, avoided hunters, and sheltered in abandoned ranger cabins. He grew thinner, but smarter. He tracked scents. He watched wildlife. And then, one day, he found something strange. While sheltering in a small cave during a snowstorm, Bruno heard a rhythmic tapping, unnatural, mechanical. He followed the sound, nose low to the ground, and discovered a hidden metal hatch, buried beneath a pile of rocks and snow. Bruno scratched at it, barked, nothing. But every day, the noise returned. Curious, Bruno stayed near the cave. The hatch seemed important. He guarded it. The crisis, back in town, the Carsons were in trouble. A sudden storm had struck the mountains harder than expected. Their power had gone out. Supplies were low. Roads were blocked. They were trapped in their home with their newborn. And worse, they lived near a ridge that had recently experienced a minor earthquake, the same area where Bruno had wandered. Authorities were worried about possible underground gas leaks, but no one could confirm. Until a ranger's drone, sent over the area to scan for damage, caught footage of a large dog circling a spot on a mountain slope. Over and over, the dog returned to it, scratching, barking. That dog was Bruno. The ranger recognized him from a missing pet flyer dated almost a year ago. The team hiked to the location. They uncovered a concealed, corroded gas valve beneath the hatch, an old mining line, ruptured during the quake. The leak was slow but spreading, directly toward the Carson home. Had Bruno not drawn attention to the site, a massive explosion could have occurred. They would have never known. The ranger team alerted emergency services. The Carsons were evaluated in time. No one was hurt. Home. Or something better. The Carsons, humbled and silent, waited at the rescue station when Bruno was brought down. He looked thinner, older, but his eyes were the same. They knelt, sobbing, trying to pet him, but Bruno looked away. He turned toward the ranger who had saved him, who had fed him, warmed him, and sat with him on the ride down, and wagged his tail. Bruno was adopted that same week, not by the Carsons, but by the ranger and her wife, who gave him a new home filled with love, hikes, and the kind of loyalty he had once given without question. This time, it was returned.